Hello, and welcome to our first weekly check-in for Art 111. These weekly check-ins will just be helpful for you guys to see what is due for the week, hopefully get any clarification on assignments that are coming up, and just a good little check-in to do just to make sure that you're on the right track for the week. If you feel like you are not understanding an assignment for the week, this is the where to look at before trying to, panic and email and all of that. Your question will probably get answered in this video. Typically, for weekly check-ins, I will send this out on Mondays. This week I wasn't in the office on Monday, and so I did not have a chance to record it. But typically it will be on Mondays when I send these out, but you'll get this on Tuesday, the 17th. So this is for my sections Art 111 D6F and Art 111 P6C. So you're in the right place if you are either of those sections for fall 2024. So let me go ahead and share my screen and we'll go ahead and get started. So this one may be a little bit longer than my typical weekly check-ins just because this is our first like real week of coursework. And so I might spend a little bit more time just looking at where things are located at, where to look at due dates and that sort of thing. So the first thing that I would like for you to do just at the beginning of any week is to click on your course information right here. And like we went over in our orientation, this is where all of our due dates are going to be found for the whole semester. So this is going to be a great guide for you and just making sure that you're staying on track. So we are in week 2, 9/16 through the 22nd, and everything that we'll be completing this week will be found in Module 1. So the goals for this week are to complete lessons 1 and 2 through Edpuzzle, which I'll show you what those look like in just a second. Complete quiz 1, and complete the active sing assignment, as well as review project 1, but we may or may not get to that. I'll show you where to look at project 1 if you would like to go ahead and look ahead on it, but there's not a requirement to this week unless you just want to. It's just a review. I'll go more in depth into it next week at our next weekly check-in. So then once I know what is due, I'm going to go to the modules page, and it's probably helpful for you guys if I go into student preview just so we're all on the same page of what we're looking at. Okay, I click on my modules, and all you should see is module 1, and then your projects folder, and then your PowerPoint folder. So that's all that should be visible for this week. You can also see due dates. Sometimes this is collapsed, but if it is not collapsed, you will see all of the sort of overview for this module, what lessons 1 and 2 are about. It's just really kind of introductory stuff. Discovering a World of Art is our first lesson, and lesson 2 is evaluating artwork. And then that just goes sort of into what those two things are going to talk about. And then it also shows you your due dates down here as well. So that's a second place, one of 2 that we've talked about so far. So then we go to module 1, click into that. You'll see, first off, we see the active sing assignment, but let's go down to where we really should start at, which is our Edpuzzle folder. You'll see the little warning on this folder. It says, please make sure to watch all Edpuzzle videos in the folder, as these are our only lecture materials in an all OER course. Be aware some Edpuzzles have built-in questions that must be answered to receive full credit. Most all Edpuzzles have those, so please make sure that when you click on one of these videos, after you watch all the way through, that you answer the questions that are throughout it and that are at the end. These are linked back to our gradebook, so you have to like hit submit or okay, after you've watched the entire thing for it to link back to the gradebook. It should do that almost automatically, so if you want to make sure that you, it went through, then just go check your grade book and make sure that there is a grade there for it. Now, with that said, if there is a question that requires me to grade it, like it's an open-ended question, the grade will still pop back, but it will not be for full credit. It'll be whatever the assignment is worth, or like the question was worth. It'll take those points off, so it'll look like, you maybe just have an 80 on it, but that's just because I haven't graded it yet. Once I grade it, it will automatically sync back to the grade book again, and it'll be your correct grade. But don't panic if it says, it's not 100 and you know that you answered all the questions. That just means I haven't graded it yet. So no need to panic on that. But for this week, we have 5 videos that we need to watch. I would recommend starting with lesson one, and then I will give you cues throughout this lesson as to when to go to each of these videos, and for lesson two as well. So just, start on lesson one, and then again, it'll cue you as to when to go to these videos. You don't have to do it in that order if you don't want to, but it'll definitely, the context will make more sense as to why I'm showing you these three top videos here. But they'll always be labeled like that, lessons one, lessons two, and so on and so forth. But I would recommend just starting with the lesson that the module begins with, and then I'll cue you as to when to watch these videos. So that's the way I would go about it. But you go about it however you want to. I can't make you do, start one way. After completing, so you absolutely need to do the Edpuzzle videos first. Otherwise, the rest of this is not going to make sense. So after you complete that, you can take quiz one right here. And just a little overview on the quizzes. Quiz one covers lessons 1 and 2 found in module 1. This quiz will include multiple choice, true or false, and short answer style questions. So before you begin, and this is really important, there is only one attempt per quiz. So make sure that when you begin the quiz, that you finish the quiz. If you start it and then want to come back to it, that is not an option. You'll only have 20 minutes to complete the quiz. And honestly, it probably won't take you that long. Usually these quizzes, like when I do them in class in person, take about 10 minutes to do. So if you have an accommodation or, something that we have talked about one-on-one that makes you need more time, that, we will definitely accommodate for that. But just generally speaking, there will be a timer on the quiz that is for 20 minutes. Once you begin the quiz, do not click away from the page. I cannot tell you how many times that has kicked people out and caused it to just like save the answers they've selected and just go ahead and send it in. So please do not click around the page once you start the quiz. You just need to, start it, be focused on it, don't look at other stuff. And please use caution that before beginning the quiz, technical errors do happen, but unless this is something that's just like completely out of the ordinary, it's not something that's listed up here. This falls into my makeup work policy. If you do not complete the quiz the way that I have told you to here, and have not followed those instructions, then I will not reopen the quiz. So, if something just like crazy, chaotic, like, unprecedented happens, I understand that and we will work on that. But if it's just simply that were not being diligent and not reading over these instructions well, that is going to fall into my makeup work policy, which we've already talked about that in the orientation. Additionally, just kind of looping back to our lessons 1 and 2, if you want to make a study guide and just like to study for the quiz before you actually go into taking the quiz, I have the PowerPoint listed here. So with the Edpuzzles, it makes you sort of like start it at the beginning and then it goes all the way to the end. But if you just want to look at like something specific on the PowerPoint, it is right here. So you can just click on that and download it. And also skeletal notes. These are extremely helpful. I make my in-person students do this, but I don't make my online students do it. Skeletal notes are optional to use, but they are a wonderful tool for studying and the course material. The notes are based on PowerPoints from the module and are perfect to complete while watching the Edpuzzle lectures or while listening to the lecture in person if you're in person. Please feel free to download the document to your computer and open in Microsoft Word or Google Docs to enter your response virtually, or you can print the document out and write in your answers physically. Personally, I think that works a little bit better. I have my students that are in person. I print out copies for them that I can distribute in person, but obviously I can't do the same for you guys. So if you do have access to a printer or you're on campus and can just print these notes out, would recommend doing that. And then please note that skeletal notes do not refer to additional Edpuzzles in the Edpuzzle folder. So for example, you will not need to use the notes when watching the Chuck Close Edpuzzle video, but you will need them when watching the recording lesson lecture titled Lesson 1 in Edpuzzle folder. So these are optional. I'll just click on them to show you what they look like real quick. If we can see them. Okay, so they're just fill in the blank, super easy. And just a little heads up also, Anything that's on the quiz will be in these skeletal notes. So these are wonderful to study from. Okay. And then lastly, this week, we have our active seeing assignment. So the active seeing assignment, this will make much more sense. So maybe just pause the video here until you're done with the lesson 2 evaluating artwork lesson. Or if you've already reviewed that, you can kind of, listen along at this time. So in module 1, we learned about active seeing and how unique it is to each person. Appreciating art requires us to look deeply in artwork and think about how our own experiences may shape the way that we view it. If we think about this as well as the artist's role in creating the work, we begin to appreciate the value a work of art brings to its culture. So our objectives within this assignment are to differentiate between what subject matter and content are in a selected work of art. And if you've watched the Edpuzzle video for lesson 1, you will absolutely know what subject matter and content are and how different those two things are. And there is a reminder in here as well, though. So I'll remind us again once we get to that, what subject matter and content are. And then also to demonstrate what active seeing is in a selected work of art. So task 1 is to review lesson 1, what is art? I would also do lesson 2 as well. And select one work of art from Google Art and Culture. Google Art and Culture, I love it. We use it a lot in this course. When you click on Google Art and Culture here, you'll see all of these different museums that pop up, and then you can click on any of them. And the MoMA is just the Museum of Modern Art in New York. And then computer will load. You'll see all of these different artworks here that you can select and choose from. We know that Starry Night is the one that I always use for the example. If you've already watched lessons 1 and 2, so you will not use this artwork yourself or ever, just because I use this as an example so much. But if you click on this artwork, a lot of the times they already have all of this info that you need on them. It gives you, the date, the artist, the title, more details about it, and sometimes even like a little overview of the piece like this. So great place to get your artwork from. And you can always either download the image from here or you can take a screenshot of it, either one. I'm probably going to have to go all the way back. So give me just a second. I'm going to start here. That's not where we are. Modules. Okay. So now that we're back, let's say that I selected, which you're not going to select this one. So let's say that me personally, I selected Starry Night to research and write about. It can be from any museum or gallery on Google Art and Culture, but be sure to properly label the image by including the gallery name, the artist name, the artwork title, and the medium, and include a high quality image of the work in your document. If you do take a screenshot, please be mindful that you do not include like other stuff in the shot, that you just crop it to be the actual painting or artwork itself. Don't include a bunch of like nonsense in the background. So if you want, when you do the label, and again, FYI, do not use Starry Night. This is how you're going to set up your label underneath your image. So make sure that this label right here is under the image. Just put your artist's name, the title, and I would prefer you put it in italics. That's just the professional way to cite an artwork. Put the medium, oil on canvas, and where the piece is located at. And just so you know that, whatever the museum is that you've clicked on to find the artwork in, that is where it's located at. And then task 3 is to utilize active seeing to explore the image more deeply. Look closely at the work and spend some time researching it and the artist. Remember, active seeing means that you are considering that everything we see is filtered through a long history of fears, prejudices, emotions, customs, and beliefs. And then your actual assignment part, so we have these tasks, but these might be things that you're doing just in your head or you're like jotting down on a piece of paper. This is not stuff that you have to turn in necessarily. But task 4, this is what you are actually turning in. Your assignment is to write a 2-paragraph essay. Before beginning, include a high quality image of your artwork labeled with the information that was up here. And then under that, paragraph 1 is going to be after researching your artwork, Write a paragraph exploring the subject matter and content of your chosen work. Be sure to cite any resources using MLA format. So if you find any information about this artwork from an online source, if you research the content or what the subject matter is, anything like that, you need to make sure that you cite that information. I'm going to know that if you, pick a painting and there's like a yellow flower in the painting and you say, this yellow flower represents the fertility of this, woman, and she, is holding this flower for this example. If you give any like in-depth description like that of like what the meaning of the piece is or like the symbolism is, I'm going to assume, especially at this point in the course, that you have not interpreted that you have got that from somewhere else. So please make sure that you cite that information, because one, I will know if it is not, if it's not something that you just already knew. And then two, if you do use a source and you don't credit that source, the plagiarism checker will pick that up and it will link me back to whatever source it is that you have gotten it from. So please be mindful of that. Also, please be mindful that we do have like AI checkers as well. So do not send this prompt into AI and, send it back over and not edit it, not do anything. I have that a lot. So please make sure that you're not doing that. And then lastly, this is sort of a new problem that we've been having here recently. Any papers that have like been from previous students of mine, it is saved into a database in Blackboard. And so if you have somebody that's already taken the class that you know of and you're just reusing their paper, it will also catch that and it'll tell you the percentage of how much you've copied from that paper and it'll link it to who that student was. So I will know not only that you were cheating, but also someone else was letting you plagiarize off of them. So please be mindful of that. This is very, very serious stuff and we can get in a lot of trouble for plagiarizing or for using AI to generate our responses. So please be careful. Okay, now off of that spiel, I want to go back to just for a second what subject matter and content are. So subject matter, remember, means it refers to what the artwork depicts, and content refers to what it means. The content may vary from piece to piece and try to talk about the artist's intention and your interpretation. So yeah, very important there. And then paragraph 2, write a paragraph exploring how active seeing made you think about the work of art. And then this is a direct submission. And you just need to copy it as save it as a Word document or a PDF, and then type your response into the right submission box. So here's an example, and it says student example, but this is my example. You'll see this is very, this is not that much writing, but it is concise, it's to the point, and it answers all of the questions accurately. So what I've got here is the student, the label here. And notice in this first paragraph, as I read through it, how I first describe the subject matter. I tell the audience what the artwork looks like, and then I go into my interpretation and the artist's intention. So it says, Starry Night depicts a blue night sky filled with bright yellow and orange stars. There is also a village down below with a few houses and trees made mostly of green colors. The painting is made of short brush strokes that create a sense that the sky is swirling or the wind is blowing. The painting was done by Vincent van Gogh, who saw this scene while looking out his asylum window. Van Gogh was inspired by how beautiful the night sky was and wanted to capture the impression of motion from the wind. This was something the Impressionist artist strived to do. So that first couple sentences there, I'm only talking about what the painting looks like, and I'm sort of setting it up in your head. And then the second pair, you don't even need to know, have an image really at that point to know what this looks like. And then the second part, I go into explaining why the artist made those choices. Because remember, our whole goal for this, these set of lessons, is to understand how form and subject matter reflect the content. Those are really, really important concepts in this early beginning part. My second paragraph, I say, active seeing made me look closer at this painting and better understand the intention behind Van Gogh's style of the short brushstrokes. Before researching this painting, it felt like just another landscape painting, but now that I know the content behind why Van Gogh chose to paint this piece, I have a new appreciation for it. When you are in a dark state of mind, as Van Gogh was, You often forget to appreciate the small things in life, such as a beautiful starry night. So that's, brief to the point. These are like 5 to 7 sentences each on the paragraphs. And that's all I'm looking for. So, this is a great reference for you to look at, and you can kind of, rephrase your own writing to sound similar to this. Some reminders here: you need to upload your document as a PDF. Do not add your text as a comment or a link. Do not add your photo as a link. You must upload the photo by clicking the plus icon in the drop-down bar as a JPEG or a PDF. Do not select Starry Night by Van Gogh as your artwork or for any artwork. And if you have any trouble understanding the instructions, be sure to watch the weekly check-in, which you're doing right now. And any additional questions or concerns, please address them by 5 p.m. on Fridays before the assignment is due. Cannot guarantee that after 5 p.m. on Friday that I will necessarily get back to you before the assignment becomes due. So a couple little reminders there just to kind of show you what I mean by the text box reminder. When you go all the way down, you click here to, actually submit your work. When you go all the way down here, there's 3 ways that you can do the submission part. You can either create a submission or upload files. Just don't even worry about this add comments part unless there is something that you're concerned about, like, hey, did this upload correctly? That would be something you can do in the add comments. But a lot of the times I have students think that they can type in their response there, and that is not the case. I will not grade it if your entire response goes into the add comment box. So please be aware of that. You either need to upload your file here, and it'll ask you to browse your computer, or create submission. And if you do this, you can just type your writing into the box here, and then to add your photo, just click on those little 3 dots and then go to the plus button right there. And you can, again, add your photo in if you've saved it correctly. And then also, if you click on the assignment, you'll see the rubric for the assignment. That'll be really helpful for you as well, just to make sure that you know what it is that I'm actually grading you on. I follow this pretty tightly, so that's your kind of key to understanding what the assignment is graded on. Other than that, though, I know this has gone a little bit longer than I thought it was going to, but that covers everything that we have due for this week. You're watching all of the Edpuzzle videos in the Edpuzzle folder. Please make sure you watch all videos in there because each of them have a grade to them. Make sure that you complete quiz 1 and make sure that you do the active seeing assignment. And that is all that is due for this week. If you want to go ahead and look ahead in the projects folder for the midterm project, the art analysis, you're more than welcome to look ahead on that, but do not submit anything. We have an outline and several other sort of like little tracking marks before we actually get to the submission part of the midterm project. So please do not, look, you're welcome to read the instructions and to watch the video that's in the folder, but do not submit anything until I give you instructions to do so. If you look into the course info, you'll see it's not due for several weeks. But yeah, if you guys have any other questions or anything before these assignments are due, please let me know, and I will get back to you just as soon as possible. But hopefully this was helpful for you guys. And I promise that in the future, these won't be quite as long. I just wanted to kind of go slow and make sure that we understood everything, saw everything there is to see about uploading, about due dates, all of that. So yeah, that's all I have for you today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you again next week.